Oh, hey, sorry guys. I forgot my shirt here in the hotel room, so I'm probably gonna run a little faster today. I can't believe it. Unbelievable. You still run a 4.47. James Pearce Jr. is insane. But it's the combine, and it's time to overreact a little bit. I couldn't wait until like Sunday or Monday. We're gonna be doing a mock draft. Now it's only gonna be a one rounder. I'll probably throw in some trades into this one too. I'm gonna definitely be doing like a 4 rounder on Monday, so we'll be after combine, really overreacting then. However, it's Friday night. I wanted to do a little Friday night mock. So let's get going on this thing and see what we got cracking. All right, the eyes are locked in. I'm starting the draft. Are you ready? I'm not. I'm scared. I'm ready. Let's do it. Tennessee Titans, number 1. What do you do? Very interesting question. I'm going quarterback in this mock draft. I think that you're picking number 1 overall. It's such a tough scenario to be in, really, I feel like this year. If it was last year's quarterback class, this would be a no-brainer. But obviously, things change. And this team needs a quarterback. Whether they do that in free agency, whether they do in the draft, Brian Callahan's already said, hey, look, there's going to be competition at it. And that is typically a sign that they got their eyes on somebody. It's still very early in the process. I'm going Cam Ward, though, here. I do think he is, in terms of consensus right now, seems to be the top guy in this quarterback class. Now, personally, I have Shedeur Sanders as my number 1 quarterback. I won't deny Cam Ward. He's gotten better and better, and you can't deny the fact that he is the more high upside quarterback. I don't know. I'm so worried about some of the stuff at Miami. He didn't deal with a ton of pressure, and I didn't feel like his defenses that he went up against were overly great. You can make the same argument for Shedeur Sanders, but Ward had a lot more time in the pocket than Shedeur did, and I also felt like Shedeur was much tougher under pressure, which is something I think that really translates a lot more. Pocket presence, I would give Ward the advantage on that for sure. Shedeur Sanders needs to get better in that regard. But I do think that's a little easier to teach than feeling like a little bit more paranoia when you're feeling under pressure and things like that, which is where especially going back to the Washington State tapes, that's really where I felt Cam Ward struggled the most when he dealt with more pressure at Washington State than he did at Miami. I'll tell you that right now. He made a lot, you go against those top, more defenses, and it was more difficult in that scenario. Once again, though, he has made significant strides, and I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong on him going into the offseason, being on like a day 3 guy. So, you know what I mean? But anyway, Cam Ward here, number 1 overall selection. Got to get a quarterback. That's what it is. And the Browns are also in a very similar scenario where they got to get a quarterback. And I have not done this in a mock draft. I don't even think this entire draft cycle. So, is this something I want to try out? Is Shedeur Sanders to the Cleveland Browns, who was spotted wearing a Browns cap. Hey, don't look too much into it. It's really just a lot of honey baloney, a lot of smoke screen. But I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders to the Browns. I think Shedeur Sanders is up for the task. He's the type of kid that it seems like wherever he wants to go or wherever he goes, he's going to have kind of like an extra motivation on his shoulders to kind of prove people wrong, because everybody in a right mind thinks he wants to go to Vegas or he's got like a proven destination to go to. I think in reality, he really doesn't care. I think he wants to go wherever and play football and win. So Shedeur Sanders, he's a winner. And I think he's underrated in terms of just strictly who he is as a person as well. I think he's a really hard worker and a tough-nosed kid. And the Browns, yeah, they got to get cheaper at the quarterback position, and they got to get better at the quarterback position. And then we go on to the Giants. Hold on. All right. As a Jets fan, here we go. Darkness retreat time. I'm hearing the Aaron Rodgers rumors. Can you believe that? I mean, come on. I mean, that'd be so funny if he goes over to the Giants for this next season. I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry, Giants fan. Hey, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It'd probably be better than, for the Jets. I'll tell you that right now, and the disaster that we had. But for number 3, I'm not reaching at quarterback 3 at this point. I'm going to go get the best prospect for this football team. I think Travis Hunter it's 1A, 1B with Abdul Carter. I'm not worried about the stress fracture really too much. If he has to have surgery, then that is what it is. Abdul Carter is a phenomenal prospect. Travis Hunter is a phenomenal prospect. Go get one of these guys. They need help in that secondary. Go give Shane Bowen another playmaker there. And if they lose Slayton too in free agency, well, I think Travis Hunter will be able to fit right in as that number 2 target with Wan'Dale Robinson, and certainly shown some ability to play deep down the field as well. Okay, hold on. We're not going to be in darkness this entire video. Let's get back to light. I need a light. On to the New England Patriots here, number 4. And the New England Patriots, I'm going Abdul Carter. That's an easy pick. This is a no-brainer situation. I get it, offense. You got a lot of needs there, but I'm not forcing anything. No way. It just is what it is. You got to see how the board falls, and if there's a guy like Abdul Carter on the board, oh, you better believe they need more pass rush, someone to go along with Keon White. That's an easy pick for me. Then we go on to the Jags here at number 5 and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, the youngest GM in football. Look at this, guys. He's some TikToker. Choose James Gladstone. This dude, it's like crazy. But anyway, if only Trent Baalke was here. If Trent Baalke, I'll tell you the pick right now. Trent Baalke was here. It's this guy right here. It's Shemar Stewart. Anyway, I am going to be, for the Jaguars, I'm going to be doing the same old that I always do. I'm sorry, Jags fans, but it's such a big need. I mean, Jahdae Barron, way better combine numbers than I thought he was going to put up. Only 4.39. Jahdae Barron, what am I missing on film out here? Unbelievable. I mean, he is a really good like lateral mover and everything like that. He's got some explosion to his game, but I didn't realize he was that quick. I'm going to Will Johnson, though, here, the corner from Michigan. I think that he is still a really good cornerback prospect and somebody with a super high floor. They need another secondary player in their defense. I think Will Johnson comes in right away and elevates that room clearly. And then on to the Las Vegas Raiders here at number 6. And I just think that they got quarterback-wise, I'm actually not as concerned about this for this team. I think they're going to first off bring in a Marcus Mariota or a Russell Wilson type. They'll let them go in there for a season or so. And then Pete Carroll's done a great job at developing quarterbacks through his career. And I think he can find somebody on day 2 to be able to develop or at least take a swing on there. So definitely don't feel like we need to reach on a quarterback. I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty, another pick that just makes so much sense. You get him in there. He's going to be there. Marshawn Lynch adds an identity to this offense with superpowers. You get Ashton Jeanty. You got Jacoby Myers. They still need another outside weapon. So you can make the argument for Aaron McMillan. I totally respect that. But Jeanty, to me, I just can't. He's such a good player. I think he's going to be an all-pro running back. And especially with nowadays, you get a good running back in there. Their offensive line's not too bad, and it definitely can be improved. But they have a good enough offensive line to support a running back in Ashton Jeanty. And then on to the New York Jets here at number 7. And the New York Jets, in this case scenario, Mason Graham's on the board. I'm running. Aaron Glenn's like, hey, let's go find another stud on that defensive line. Build those trenches up, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And you put him up next to Quinn Williams, big baby face over there. Mason Graham. They got 2 baby faces now on that defensive line. And then we go on to the Carolina Panthers here at number 8 overall. Oh, pass rush. I'm adding some electricity. But which one do I add? Do I add in James Pearce Jr. or Shemar Stewart? That's the question. I'm going James Pearce Jr. We're going to add in that 4.47 speed. And on to New Orleans, NOLA. And with Kellen Moore's first pick as the head coach and Mickey Loomis as the GM, well, Kellen Moore knows the thing about trenches, right? And we're going to go add in that freakazoid, that dude who putting up Myles Garrett numbers. Now, I'm still not quite this high on Shemar Stewart, but I can't deny those numbers, man. I mean, you jump over 40 inches, your broad's insane, almost freaking 11 inches. Like, that is just incredible numbers. 4.59, really strong there. Guys his size, 6'5", 250 or 260s plus, almost 270. It's just freakish numbers, right? And if you're a good coach, if you have coaching, you can develop this guy's hands and work on getting stronger and things like that, like Shemar Stewart. And he's only 20 years old, too. He's not even going to be 21 until later on in his rookie season. So super young player, and they're going to probably end up losing Chase Young. So you go get a pass rusher in here to get some more pressure off the edge to go along with Carl Granderson. And then we go, so yeah, I mean, he's probably going top 15 after those numbers. It just is so hard. These NFL players, these guys are going to develop and they're going to get better. With that type of profile, you just can't teach that stuff. And then on to the Bears here, number 10 in Chicago. I'm going offensive line. Ben Johnson, also a guy that knows a little thing about trenches. Will Campbell, he's probably saying to himself, that's Taylor Decker I'm watching right now. I'm going to go select him. Will Campbell. Actually, there are some similarities. I do think so. Both on the shorter side, but technicians. On to the 49ers here at number 11. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, what's that sound? It looks like you just won a brand new golf club, courtesy of the NFL Mock. Oh, look at that swing. Boom. Look at that thing. That's out of there. That's at least like 500 yards. Got to be. But hey, I got to thank the sponsor for providing me with these great golf clubs. It's the sponsors, nobody. Anyway, yes, let's go. And it always will be. No sponsors. Forget all those people. But let's get back to the mock draft here. And the 49ers, you look at trenches. This is another area. I think it's edge rusher. It's offensive line or interior defense line. Like those are the 3 areas that I'm looking at here for this football team. And I'm kind of going with the BPA between those. I'm going to go Walter Nolan, though, here, who's got Really good athleticism. Surprised he didn't run. Really kind of a little shaken by that. I thought his numbers would have been like excellent. So I'm not super worried about it. But yeah, I'm gonna take Walter Nolan. They need to get younger on that defensive line. They really do, and cheaper as well. Cowboys, how about them? Oh, what do we do? How about Cowboys? I'm gonna go out in a playmaker in here. Terrell McMillan, the Air McMillan, as I like to call him, because he's got air. He can jump, man, and he's gonna be a big time playmaker and a clear upgrade for them as that number 2 wide receiver on the perimeter to go along with CD Lamb. On to the Dolphins, number 13 overall. I don't know why I'm speaking so with such an epic voice, but we need to bring the epicity to this mock draft. But for this Miami Dolphins team, I'm going offensive line. You better believe I'm going offensive line. And in the spirit of the combine and spirit of the risers, I'm going Armin Membu, the Missouri right tackle. I think he ends up moving inside the guard for some teams. Okay, some teams will stick him over at right tackle, and that's fine. Like, he has potential to be a right tackle for them and could be an upgrade over Austin Jackson long haul. And they've had a lot of injury at their tackle position anyway, so I'm actually good the fact that he has that versatility. But hey, stick him into one of those guard positions. They clearly need an upgrade there. It's like their number 1 need on the roster, and it's been like that for the past, 10 years now, it seems like. But yeah, let's go and fix this offensive line. All right, Brian Green, it's time. There's no hints out here. It's just full on. We've been giving you hints for the past 10 years. And then we go on to the Colts here. Let's just go and lock in the Tyler Warren pick, and we'll move on. I'm sorry, Colts fans, but it's such a great pick. I love it. I love it so much that I do it every week. I'll change it up like, once every 2 months or something like that. And then another pick that's like change up every so often. It's the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go pass rush. I'm going to go get an edge rusher here. I'm going to go get another freak athlete. And Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker, very raw player, guy that very much has round 2 tape, but top 10 athleticism. Like it's like, how do you weigh that? It's kind of like the Shemar Stewart effect. Do you get these guys with these insane traits, but the production's like, it's kind of tipping the scales there. But Jalen Walker certainly has tremendous upside and the athletic profile and the tools that win at the next level. And then we go on to the Arizona Cardinals. I also thought he had a really, I thought he's going to, come in there right away too and at least be an impact, if nothing else. He makes plays. He finds ways to make plays. And then on to the Arizona Cardinals. And the Arizona Cardinals here, you look at the board and you're saying to yourself, what do they do, right? There's a lot of areas they could go at. But for me personally, I love going and getting a big hog molly on that defensive line, right? Go getting another trench player, whether it's an edge rusher, whether it's an interior defensive lineman. Like, they could use both of those departments. And at this point, the traits, Mikael Williams, a guy from Georgia who has all the traits that NFL teams are oozing over, salivating, just like Shemar Stewart and Jalen Walker. And we'll keep it close. The 2 Georgia guys going next to each other. Let's go get a nice hog molly there on that defensive line for the Arizona Cardinals. I almost said the Arizona Bulldogs. I was like or maybe I almost said the Georgia Cardinals. It was one of the two. Like, it was something was coming out there that was blurred and that wasn't too promising. On to the Bengals here at number 17 overall. And the Bengals, what do you do? Well, a lot of areas they need to go after, but I'm going to go with Jahdae Barron. What a great combine he put up. And this is a pick that I saw from, DJ's mock draft the other day. But then I thought to myself, wow, this would be an excellent pick for a mock draft. I got to steal this. So yeah, I did. I stole it. I just did right now. And Jahdae Barron, 4.39, crazy number there. Didn't expect that good. He moves extremely well on film too, like laterally. And as a coverage player, that was never the problem. It was just worrying, can he have the speed on the outside, dang, if they wanted to play him that. I think you put him in the slot, though, and he's going to be a dynamic player for them to be an upgrade from Mike Hilton there. And then we go on, or even play safety too, right? I think he could play safety, no problem. So if you really want, you go in him the back end. Just another playmaker. On to the Seattle Seahawks here at number 18. And the Seattle Seahawks, hey, a lot of options on the board here, but I'm going to continue to go offensive line. I think it's just their top need. It's something that they have to address. They have to improve. Gray Zabel. This is another pick that's just straightforward. They need offensive line, whether it's center or guard. And that's what I love about Zabel too, is like I can just say, hey, we're drafting a guy that plays on the interior, because right now we'll see how it all works out, whether they want to move on, if they want to upgrade between Oluwatimi. Now, Oluwatimi has a chance to be their starter going into next season. That's what I like about Zabel. But Lane Tomlinson being a free agent, you got a lot of uncertainty. Anthony Bradford has not worked out. And you don't know if Christian Haynes is going to be the long-term answer either. So I just feel like they need to upgrade and get better at a run game. Like, that is such a big problem for this team. Let's go on to the Bucks. Oh, yeah, we're going the Bucks. No, you don't. We're going Jahad Campbell, the linebacker / hybrid edge rusher, whatever the heck you want to call him, from Alabama. had a great combine as well. I mean, it maybe wasn't a 4.4, but he's just, oh, man, he looks unbelievable. I mean, his movement skills are insane. His tape is really, really good as well. He's a guy that I think could play literally off the edge, but also play as a true linebacker. He has the coverage feel. And that's the thing. Like, I feel confident he has a higher floor than Jalen Walker because I can stick him on off-ball linebacker, and I'm not worried about that. I could see him developing into one of the best linebackers in football. Like, he has legit Fred Warner upside with his athletic traits and coverage instincts. Broncos fans, number 20, I'm doing something different this week. You see me go over and over like an offensive playmaker, a tight end, running back very much in play. Not this week. We're going the big Kenneth Grant from Michigan, the Wolverine. He had to pull out of the combine, unfortunately, because of injury. I would have loved to see Kenneth Grant and his numbers. But look, Sean Payton really values interior defensive line. That's like something you go back. It just seems like an area that he always really prioritizes. And Kenneth Grant is going to be just like one of those guys, you putting him next to Zach Allen, and you're kissing defenses goodbye. Their defensive line was really, really good this season, but DJ Jones being a free agent, who's going to be that guy right there, right next to Zach Allen? And I don't know if I see them paying another guy in free agency. I think they're going to look at the draft. And especially in this draft class, the value of Kenneth Grant at this point just makes too much sense. And especially if they're not going to go offense, I think they're going to go interior defense line. That's my guess. So I really think this is a pick that I could see them going after, is someone like a Kenneth Grant if he's on the board here at 20. Then we go on to number 21, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, also a team that I think really going to value possibly going after a defensive tackle, right? I think defensive interior is a clear area that they prioritize as well. But I'm going to go cornerback here. I think this is an area that they have shown to go after and get some more, or they need to go after, should I say. Maybe it's not something they've always gone after in the first round, but it is something that I think they need to go after in this draft. And in the mainstay of highlighting players, okay, I'm going to go with Maxwell Hairston and running an insanely fast combine time there, 4.28. He's extremely electric on the field as well. And I think he fits what the Pittsburgh Steelers like to do as well. So he's going to be a Dante Jackson type of a player. He's actually a guy I've kind of comped a little bit to Dante Jackson. There's some similarities to him and his play style. So you get another playmaker on the outside who can be a ball hawk for them. And then on to the Bolts here. The Lightning, number 3. Not the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Los Angeles Lightning, I guess if you want to call it that way. But the Los Angeles Chargers, 22 overall. I'm adding a playmaker. I'm going Luther Burden III. They got to get more playmakers in this wide receiving room. Or whether it's tight end, wide receiver, I don't care. Just get a good playmaker. They need more help on the perimeter, tight end, you name it, right? Just get somebody. On to the Green Bay Packers, they could also use a weapon for this football team. It wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't if they go out and draft a wide receiver in the first round. This is maybe finally the year. Maybe the jinx is over for the Green Bay Packers and not selecting a wide receiver in the first round. But hey, who knows, right? There's just so many things. But I am going to take a cornerback here. I'm going to go with my guy. I know that you see Benjamin Morrison falling. This is going to be another, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be another scenario where you look at the Cooper DeJeans, you look at the Brian Branches, these guys who fall the second round, and you're like, what the heck are these guys falling the second round? Well, because we continue to overreact to things. Benjamin Morrison, stop overreacting. I would take him top 10 if it weren't for this hip injury and whatever. And, I got to check the medicals. We'll find out more when this is all said and done. But Benjamin Morrison, he's a stud. Like, you look in the football field, he's a top 10 type of corner in the NFL upside. Maybe he does need to get a little stronger in press coverage. Like, ideally, yes. But you go to the NFL, he's a super young player. I just recently listened to an interview. This guy made me love him even more than I already did. And I have him like as a top 5 player in the draft. So, yeah, he's going to be a playmaker. I'm telling you, he's going to be a baller in the NFL. I have no doubt about that. If you end up trading Zaire Alexander, well, you get a nice replacement here in Benjamin Morrison, and you're laughing at all the other teams that passed up on him. I'm telling you, you're going to. And this would be redemption, too, for them for passing on Brian Branch. I'll tell you that right now. And then on to the Minnesota Vikings. Skull, skull, skull. You know we got to do the skull chants out here. And I'll say this. Kawasi Adofa-Mensah, he needs a home run pick in this mock draft, or in this draft in general. Like, this is going to be a big one. A big pick. I mean, like, if he doesn't hit in this, he's going to be seriously in trouble, because you look at his draft so far, and it's been rough. So I fully expect them to be looking at somebody that they're like, all right, we feel really, really good about. This guy's going to come in and do this for us, right? The guy that I'm going to go after here is actually going to be Derek Harmon from Oregon, a very high floor prospect. I'm a Ducks fan. Harmon's been a consistent presence there since transferring over from Michigan State. He was good at Michigan State. I'm also a Michigan State Spartan fan too. Harmon was underrated coming out of there. Really proved himself. He's a young player. He's got strength profile. He's got athleticism. He just checks all the boxes for what you look for from a good interior defensive lineman. I mean, I don't know if I see a top 5 defensive tackle, but he's going to be a top 15, top 20 defensive tackle in the NFL, in my opinion. Really good football player. Just has all the traits really, in a combined package that you like. They need interior defense line next to Harrison Phillips. Then we go on to the Houston Texans here at number 25 overall. And the Houston Texans, I'm going to add another playmaker. I think offensive line certainly is in play for this team. They've got a lot of guys, and which kind of leads me to bring in, maybe you go after somebody in free agency on the interior of that offensive line, right? Especially if they move on from Shaq Mason. That's when you bring in a free agent as that, more veteran presence with those young guys, with Jared Patterson, with Juice Shrugs. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I lean towards, I see them going free agency route in the offensive line department. There's some good offensive linemen here. I don't hate that, but with some of these receivers, I'm going to go ahead and take, it is tough between Emeka Egbuka and Matthew Golden. If you're looking for a Stephon Diggs type of replacement, I think Matthew Golden kind of fits that bill. Since it's like, you got to look at that experience with CJ Stroud, Emeka Egbuka. I like that a lot. Obviously, they went after Kate Stover last season as well, so maybe there's a little bit of ties there. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Emeka Egbuka here. It's 1A, 1B, both really good players. I think Egbuka has a little bit higher floor, but I think Golden has a little more upside. The Los Angeles Rams here at number 26 overall. And I think it's either offensive line, like cornerback. Wait, I saw the other day, I was looking at Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. You should have seen my eyes. They were like Ghostface. Oh, you got Darius Alexander going to this defense. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? What are you trying to do out here? But that would be a shot. That'd be wild. Anyway, I'm going to go with Josh Simmons on the board here. Hey, I'd like Josh Connolly too. I think that'd be a really good pick for them. But Simmons, a guy that has right tackle experience, and whether you put him at right tackle for the future or if you end up losing Aldrick Jackson, then that would be a clear cut. You plug and play with Josh Simmons. So no matter what, try to add some offensive line because Rob Havens didn't go into last year of his contract, been a little injury prone too. So God, he's been a really good tackle. Don't get me wrong. It's just, they're going to have to look at that for the long haul. Let's go on to the Baltimore Ravens though now here at 27. And I'm going to change it up because I do go offensive line quite a bit. We'll see what happens. Okay. I heard they're optimistic, right? Eric DeCosta, he's optimistic about a deal with Ronnie Stanley. So that's always good news, right? So with that being said, I'm actually going to do something a little different. I'm going to go with the Darius Alexander pick here from Toledo. And he's going to be exactly what they need on that defense line. He's going to take away from those double teams that Nnamdi Madubuike has to always face each and every game. It's going to open it up. So somebody's going to get some one-on-ones, whether it's Alexander or Madubuike. It allows Travis Jones, obviously, to do what he does as a run stuffer. You get somebody behind him, too. Pearce, is only more of a limited guy at this point. But Alexander adds some more firepower to that defensive line and explosion. The Detroit Lions here at number 28 now. And for Detroit, I really think that it comes down to two key positions. It's offensive line and it's edge rusher. Those are the two areas that I think that they're going to be really looking at. Now, Mike Green is dealing with those sexual assault allegations. I know he denied them, but when there's fuel or when there's fire, when there's smoke or whatever they call it, when there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know. I don't know phrases. I just do it, right? That's all my phrase. That's what I go by. But anyway, that's going to be something we're going to have to continue to clarify upon. But I'm going to go offensive line here. I'm going to go Ariante Ursery, put him in on that guard position. I like him on the interior so much. Not to say that he can't play tackle or anything like that. Specific teams could play him at tackle, and I'm okay with that. But I really like him on the interior. I really do. I think he's just going to be a badass on the interior. Yeah, I'm telling you, he'll rough up some guys. In Detroit, they like him big. They like him strong. You put him next to Penei Sewell, and then you got Christian Mahogany on the opposite side. You got an insane Frank Ragnow. Oh, my gosh. Don't even get me started on that offensive line. That's Philadelphia Eagles level of big and tall and strong and just insane. On to the Commanders here at number 20. I got to calm down. These hog mollies got me going out here. Commanders, I'm going offensive line here as well for them. I'm going Josh Connolly Jr. Got to protect your quarterback, Jaden Daniels. I'm going to do that with Josh Connolly Jr., whether he's right tackle for them or left tackle. We'll see. Brandon Coleman, I kind of like moving him inside a guard, limit some of those outside edge rushers and speed. He'll get better, I know at that, but ultimately, you boot him inside the left guard. I think that's personally where I scout at TCU. I thought he was going to be a guard at the next level. He does have the size and the athleticism. It's just, I thought personally he lost the edge a little bit too much, so I think his footwork's not quite there yet. Could get there, but we'll see. Anyway, Connolly, whether it's right guard, I think they can move on for Andrew Wiley. They just hit up on the offensive line. That's all. That's really where it's at. Gotta help them. Gonna just do it, man. We gotta do it here for the Buffalo Bills. And this is one where I think that pass rush, such a big need still. Defensive line, cornerback, both areas. Hey, wide receiver certainly in play for this team. I actually, Matthew Golden would be a really nice pick too for this football club. But since they've gone wide receiver, they got tight end, obviously, in the past couple of drafts. You're hoping that Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid come along and help this team out. They're going to have to add more weapons, but I'm going to go get some up on the defense side of the ball because when it kind of came down to the clutch, they couldn't stop teams. And I'm going to go add in some more juice to get after the quarterbacks. That way they can stop teams. I love Donovan Ezeraku. I love Landon Jackson. Really good football players, man. Landon Jackson's going to be a guy I go to war for. I really like Landon Jackson so much. And you better believe that's where we're going. Landon Jackson, Arkansas, just a guy that I think is going to put the extra mile. He's just one of those dudes. I love at the Senior Bowl when maybe you struggle the first day, but you just get better and better and better. And that's what Landon Jackson did. And throughout his process, even what he's, just the guy himself is kind of just continue to fight. That's one of those things, those traits. It's hard to even say. I can't even really describe it. But there's a trait with Landon Jackson that I've seen from certain football players that typically I just think translates. And Landon Jackson has that. He has that certain factor that you're probably saying to yourself, what the heck are you talking about right now? Just go listen to Landon Jackson. Hopefully you'll hear it or something, see it. And when you watch his film and stuff, it's on there. It is, you know what I mean? It's probably like, you're BSing us. No, it's there. I like Landon Jackson. I really do. And the 40-inch vertical too. What? Didn't expect that. Unbelievable. On to the Chiefs here, number 31 overall. Chiefs also could use a pass rusher, but offensive line is such an area that they could go after. Kelvin Banks Jr., I'm going to take him from Texas. Yeah, I'm sticking him here. He fell to 31. Just mainly I'm highlighting other players. I don't think Banks actually falls this far to this point, but they need a left tackle, and we're going to take right advantage of that. That leads us, though, to the final pick of this mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles at number 32 overall. And I know there's a lot of areas that they could go after. Those trenches, right? Howie Roseman looking and salivating. He's probably trying to stir up some controversy too with like Mike Green saying, ooh, make him drop to us, which he actually did in this case scenario. But I'm going to do something different. Hey, I didn't do any traits in this draft, so I want to do at least one here, especially with a combine champion that I got to get in here. So pardon me on this. And this would be very similar, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in what the Philadelphia Eagles did in this past draft. We're going to trade up from number 36 to number 32 to jump a couple of teams. We'll give up like a 4th rounder or something like that, something later in the draft for Howie Roseman to get another pick because I could see him doing that, just kind of what he does, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, and the Jaguars have a lot of mid-round picks. We're going to jump up, not for Malachi Starks. We're going to jump up for Nick Emmanwori, number 1 safety that goes off the board after this combine. I think he goes in the first round. I think he's a lock. Now, I do think the tape is a little up and down still, but he is a ball-hawking, tough nose. He comes down. He wants to lay a hit. Really like what he brings to the table. Just work out some consistency. Super young player. Hear nothing but great things, too, about him as a locker room guy, a leader there at South Carolina, what he means to that Gamecocks team and what he brings on the game days, right? Now he's going to go over here now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just improved their secondary, getting Will Johnson and Nick Emmanwori. But here is our draft, though. This is an overreaction draft. I'm going to be honest. I will do another mock draft on Monday. We'll be doing a 4-rounder at least. Okay, maybe who knows, but it'll be at least a 4-rounder, and we'll go through a little more methodically than we did with this one. But hey, it was a lot of fun. I like overreacting. And here, let me go to the top 2 so you can see those picks if you're recapping it up and everything like that. Certainly let me know. Do you agree or do you disagree with these picks? These are some interesting ones. I'll tell you that right now. But I hope you guys have a really good day, and I'll talk to you here really, really soon.